Another Hong Kong media outlet is shutting down in the face of growing pressure from the Chinese government. Citizen News said it no longer felt safe to publish after journalists from a competitor were charged with sedition. The decision by one of the territory's few remaining independent news providers came on the same day that a new legislative council loyal to Beijing was sworn in.
For Hong Kong, this is the start of a new era. These are the first lawmakers to take office under new election rules that excluded anyone deemed disloyal to China's communist government. And the first to be sworn in under China's national emblem, another sign of Beijing's tightening grip. Just 20 were directly elected, with voter turnout the lowest since the city returned to Chinese rule. Hong Kong's chief executive, Carrie Lam, oversaw the ceremony. She now faces even less dissent from outside the council as well, after a major independent news website announced its closure amid a media crackdown. We've been trying our best not to violate any laws, but we can no longer see clearly the reasoning of law enforcement, and we can no longer feel safe to work. The move was prompted by a police raid on pro-democracy outlet Stand News last week, when several journalists were arrested under colonial-era sedition law. To many Western observers, Citizen News' closure is just the latest sign of Hong Kong's increasingly unfree media environment, and of how rapidly Beijing has worked to erode the city's special status and freedoms.
Well, let's talk about that with our correspondent Phoebe Kong. Citizen News declared it could no longer report without fear. What does the news media have to fear?
Well, the top editors of Citizen News today, they told the press that explicitly that the closure of Citizen News was, the decision was triggered by the closure of another pro-democracy news outlet, Stand News, just a few days ago. After the police raided the newsroom, they deployed over 200 officers to search the homes of the editors, found the top management, and also the editorial office. And the police also frozen 61 million Hong Kong dollars of Stand News and prosecuted the top editors for publishing seditious publications. So that particular case has triggered a wide-ranging chilling effect in the Hong Kong journalistic industry, including Citizen News. So that's why they decided to close the media outlets before they were exposed to further risk under the national security law and also other offences, which was enacted during the colonial era, but now being reused by the authorities to target political dissent. So this is the main fear of Citizens News, and they have said that even the top editors were very veteran journalists who have worked in the industry for decades. They can't ensure the safety of the staff, so that's why they have to make this decision.
So, Phoebe, what then is the state of free, independent reporting in Hong Kong following this closure?
Well, Citizen News established in just 2017. It was an independent news outlet, mainly financed by subscription fees of the readers. It was independently run, without pressure from the business people or political pressure. So Citizen News and also Stand News, which was shut down earlier last week, both of them have gained huge popularity in Hong Kong, even though they're just a very young media outlets in Hong Kong with just a few years history. But they're really popular, have a large reader base with millions of readers in Hong Kong, especially those pro-democracy supporters. So this is indeed a really huge blow to the journalist industry, that two independent media outlets have to close themselves so after under the pressure of the authorities and the new legislation, and they have to adjust to the new normal in Hong Kong, that the media environment and the freedoms are shrinking, set by the editors and the management of the two news outlets. So just only within 6 months, Apple Daily and the two online media have shut down. So now we can say most of the influential independent media outlets have shut down, with only a few remaining outlets still running. So this is really affect the future of Hong Kong, also the future of how journalists can work on the ground.
Lastly, Phoebe, I mentioned the swearing in of the new deputies of the Legislative Council. The election in December was controversial. The candidates were tested for their political loyalty to China. What course will the legislative body now take?
Well, this is today is the first day when the lawmakers, the 19 lawmakers, met in the parliament. Indeed, we have seen a kind of harmony within this among themselves, because 89 of them are pro-Beijing figures, with only one of the lawmakers claimed himself as non-pro-establishment. This is resulted in this kind of situation because a new vetting mechanism was introduced to the electoral system, and leading to the absence of the major opposition came. So we no longer see any opposition lawmaker inside Parliament, and the lawmakers, the pro-Beijing lawmakers, have already stressed that they will cooperate with the authorities in terms of many issues, including the enactment of further national security-related offences and legislation. So this is some of the agendas that we are expecting that will further affect the whole political landscape in Hong Kong.
DW correspondent Phoebe Kong, thank you.